Something that completely transformed my approach to recruiting. It's called the Who framework, and it's the foundation of how I built my entire hiring strategy. Look, when somebody quits their job, or somebody gets fired, or you expand, that triggers a series of events, right? It triggers the we need to hire. And when that happens, most organizations rely on two core documents: the job description and the requisition form. So we start with the job description. It's duties and qualifications and a big, giant, ugly list of boring stuff that is probably not even prioritized. It's just this big list. And even though maybe 20% of it is really what the core job is all about, we fluffed it up and buried it inside of a bunch of other stuff. It's not in any particular order on the duties or the qualifications or the responsibilities. It's just all in there and most likely written by a lawyer. Has its use, has nothing to do with recruiting. And then we have the requisition form, which is like the manager's wish list, like a kid at Christmas who says, "My parents have unlimited budget. Give me everything I could ever hope for." Neither of those two things are recruited in or rooted in reality. They're just what we've always used. And it's what we've been using for years and years and has gotten us to the place we are now where recruiting isn't working. So, how do you solve for this? Well, you don't do it by doing the same thing you've been doing. You have to start with better information. You start by asking this one simple question: Hey, manager, who do you wish you could clone? This really comes down to who have we hired in the last 6 to 18 or 24 months that was wildly successful, that we love doing the job, and they love doing the job. Those two parts. We love them, they love it. That person that you identify is our clone. They're the person that we have hired. Now, for a lot of those core jobs that you hire for all the time, this is super easy. Just go into your ATS system, look at everybody that you hired in the last 2 years, and rank them based off of who are the best ones. If we stack rank them on who's the best, we look at the top 3 to 5 and we say, hey, this is our target group. These are the people that we want to clone. Now, when I say clone, I clearly don't mean race and gender and age and all that kind of protected class stuff. I mean, where did they come from? What were they good at? And why were they looking for a new job? Let me tell you a personal story of kind of how this worked for me. I got lucky. So, in the very beginning, I had a couple of employees and I hired a couple of part time moms to come in and work for me. I hired them as an admin assistant because honestly, I didn't know what I needed to hire, right? And so that's just what I called it. And effectively, the job I put them in was customer support. But instead of running a customer support ad, I'd ran an admin assistant ad. And I got 3 and 4 amazing people to come in out of my network. And I went, aha, I love this target person. This is the type of person I need more of. They were amazing. They worked hybrid. They worked in the office sometimes. They had previous admin experience and office manager experience. They were great on a computer. They were phenomenal at explaining technology to my HR buyer who maybe wasn't quite as adept at it. But no, they didn't have any previous customer support experience on their resume. A light bulb went off in my head and I said, hey, these are the people that I will want more of as we start growing. We are growing at 50% year over year over year. But when I ran a customer support job, the same type of people didn't apply. So I suddenly stopped and went, wow, this is a problem, right? I took a step back and I realized that the people that I loved to hire weren't actually looking for the job I was hiring them for. So I focused on my who framework. I said, well, who is my target? See, I had Sarah and Tracy and Heidi. They were all on my team, and I wanted to hire more of them. So I dug into where they came from, why they were looking for a new place to work, and what type of opportunity would attract them. I then wrote an ad that would show up in front of them and get them excited to apply. Let me explain. This didn't just happen once, it continued to replicate itself. Now, if you don't have that history, maybe it's a brand new job you've never hired for before, or you haven't hired for it in a long time. Well, who do you wish you could clone becomes a different question. Let's go to LinkedIn. Let's look at our competitors. Let's see who they have doing this job. Not what the job ad says, but the resumes and profiles on LinkedIn for those individuals. We're going to start there and we're going to download those. You see, this gives us this key part. Once we know our who, then we can start digging in further to say, well, where are they now? What company, what job title, what industry? And before they came working for us, where was that place, right? This is how you avoid making the same mistake I did. You see, I had these part-time moms working in sport. I then moved on to sales. I'd promoted one of them, Sarah, in sales, and she was crushing it. So I wanted to clone more Sarahs. But when I wrote a traditional sales job ad, all the applicants that came in, well, they didn't look anything like Sarah. And when I interviewed them, they were kind of jerks, right? Sarah and people like her were more likely to have their typing speed and the title office manager or admin assistant on their resume, maybe customer support, but never the word sales. And that was my big aha. Once again, I looked at the applicants that came in that I loved and said, well, the people that came in that sucked all had the word sales on their resumes, and those that I loved didn't. That was my aha. So think about this. If your requirement was you have to know Zoom or some other technology, yet your best employees didn't know that when they started working, they learned it on the job. Well, that would be on your list of requirements, but it's not an actual requirement. Or if somebody who is doing your job right now in sales had never had sales experience, well, then putting previous sales experience on your job ad is going to exclude them. You see, all of this leads you to overstating the requirements. And sure, you could say, no, we said they were preferred. But what happens is those overstated requirements scare away the very people that are similar to your people that you want to clone. You end up with people who are willing to break the rules if they apply, even though they're not a fit, and you scare away those who are awesome. This is generally causing the problem in your organization. So, to recap, the key to transforming your hiring results is figuring out first who you want to clone, your top performers, the people you hired in the last 2 years or so. Then understand where they came from, how is it described on their resume, and then finally, what are they looking for in a new job? Then you just need to focus on that instead of the job description or the requisition form. This simple shift in thinking can completely change the quality of candidates you attract because you'll change the quality of the ad that you're putting out there. It will target better keywords, it will target the right keywords, and it will bring them in and convince them that they will be a great fit for this job, that they do have a chance of actually getting an interview. And to be honest, it'll scare away the riffraff that aren't a great fit for your job anyway. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you again soon.